Yes, we are live. How exciting is this? I'm using a new software program called Melon App. So if you guys like the style of this video, please comment and let me know. I can send you my referral link as well. So I'm getting everything set up here. All right, so we're on Instagram, we're live. All right, so here's what we are going to talk about today. Ooh, I'm excited about this topic, y'all. Divide and conquer. Yes, division. Let's think about division. What does division mean? Division is separation. Division is the belief that you are separate from the world, from those around you, from other things, other beings, other situations. That's what division is about. So, this article that I came across, I really wanted to kind of dive into it today and talk about division. As you know, I'm a psychologist, a business psychologist, a counselor, a life coach, a spiritual person. I'd like to consider myself very spiritual. So, within all of this, let's have this conversation about division because we all fall into the division trap. And the reason being that we fall into this trap is polarity, right? So there's always opposite ends to everything. There's a north, there's a south, there's a good, there's a bad, there's a left, there's a right, right? But in the center of that is that access point. So, yes, there's division, there's two ends to every stick, right? But then there's always a middle too. So, and then from that middle, everything goes outward. If you know what the word toward is, that means from the core and then things extend out, right? So ultimately, yes, there's opposite ends to the stick. And the contrast in our lives provides feedback and information. So contrast is, man, I didn't like how my boss talked to me today. So I'm really like, I don't know if this is the place I want to work anymore. And I don't know if this is the job for me, right? So within that, that provided contrast versus when you have a good day at work where you're like, man, I really killed that project. My presentation was on point. I really had a great day at work and I felt like I was productive and helping other people or whatever it is that motivates you at work. That was the day you had. So there's opposite ends to everything. And that's why it's important to think about division. So let's jump into this article because I think it's really cool. I have my cards here, so I'll get into that at the end of the video. But yeah, let's look into it. All right, so the divide and conquer. Now this article is in The Guardian. If you're looking for it here, you can see the web URL up there. But yeah, check out the article. I'll put the link in the description of the video stream on YouTube if you're interested, all right? So dividing people is the best way to lead, or is it? So we've just seen a lot of things politically happen all across the world. My friends in the Philippines, in Germany, everywhere. We're all dealing with political unrest, so to speak. And there's different parties and different factions, and there's different sides, and everybody feels very passionately about their side. So everybody's been repping their side real hard right now because, it's really hitting at the core of what we believe, the core of who we are, right? So that's why I figured this topic is very good for the day, divide and conquer. So there are two ways people lead, right? Now, this is my business psychology days. I love it. There are two ways people lead. You can drive your impact through division by dividing people, or you can bring people together, right? Think about marriage. You can do things as a united front, or you could do things against each other, right? You can, at work, deal with your employees by us versus them. Management, we're always right and we're against you, the employee. Or you can think of things in a united way where, okay, this is the mission, the vision, the values of our company, right? So we're all working together to do whatever mission we have, to meet whatever productivity goals we have, right? So you can either rule through division or you can rule through uniting. So when you divide people, you create an enemy. So everything is wrong. That's wrong with the situation is them, and I'm right and they're wrong. And when you can build people around that vision of you being right and them being wrong, or that thing over there being wrong, then you can gain that support in that way where they're like, okay, yes, well, lead us, take us in the direction that we need to know. And that sense of urgency unleashes that unconditional support, right? So that's one point made here that I wanted to show the article for that very reason. Now, you can unite people and you could create a shared ambition and a journey, and then everyone, both sides feel empowered because there's that degree of understanding there. So, really think about that. The divide and conquer approach. A lot of the drama that we're experiencing is because people are struggling with, are they the enemy? Is this one the enemy? This is wrong and this is right. Instead of looking at it from a unified perspective and knowing that we are, all one in a lot of ways. So here, this is a good point about Machiavelli. Politics have no relations to moral. It says, one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. There's some great quotes in the article. That's why I have it up here on the YouTube live stream. Oh, and the de-individuation. That's a good point too, because, when you're looking to that leader and you feel that separation from another aspect of the collective, another aspect of the situation, you begin to follow the group. You begin to kind of take on that herd mentality. You ever see like a flock of sheep kind of just follow, or cows follow? You take on that herd mentality where you're just kind of following the leader and you're following what is being thrown at you. And when you're in these situations, it's very easy to be fed narratives. Now, those narratives could be true, they could be false, but it's very easy to play into those narratives that are painted for you. And you lose that self-awareness piece. And, that was one aspect of, Nazi Germany, that herd mentality where everyone was just kind of losing a sense of self and following the collective out of fear and that sense of urgency. And then this one here with Attila the Hun, he says, there where I have passed, the grass will never grow again. So there's no future orientation when you take that division approach, because you're not worried about the next leader. You're not worrying about the next scenario. You're just worrying about right here, right now, the short term, and how that's going to benefit your agenda. So think about that. There's that agenda piece to it too. So I'm going to take this off the screen here. But yeah, think about that. Think about division. Think about where in your life do you experience a degree division. Do you have that experience at work where you're like, man, there's one group and they click up and they do their thing, and then, I'm on the outside, or maybe there's a group of employees that's on the outside and you feel like you're on the inside. Or is it at your church? Do you feel like there's one group that's kind of like leaving you out the mix? How about schools? Are you in a program somewhere where you kind of feel divided? Are you in a relationship where you feel like you're not working well with your partner? Is there division there? Family members, friendships. Where in your life do you really feel that division? Because this is what is important about understanding separation and polarity. It's a part of our life and it's a part of our experience. And we all signed up for it. We all contracted before we came into our little bodies here to say, you know what, I want to experience a little contrast. Because that's what this is. That's what it really is. It is contrast. So, within that contrast, what are you dividing yourself from? What are you separating yourself from? That's really what I want you to dig deep into. Like, what are you in your life at this point are you feeling separate from? Is it your internal self? Is it have you gained weight and you kind of feel like, man, I'm not like I don't have the energy I used to, and there's separation there, or is it like career stuff, like personal goals you have that I just can't get the motivation to move forward? And what is in your life creating separation? Because the more happiness you feel, the more unification you feel, the more like you have a purpose and a sense of direction, and you feel like you're flowing and you're in the right environment, so you're in the right place at the right time, and you're just enjoying life and enjoying your relationships and all of your experiences. Now that's heaven on earth. And that's why, I love what I do, because that's my mission. My mission is to really help other people find that sense of peace for themselves. And this brings me a sense of peace. So that's why I do it. But where do you feel division in your life? Where do you feel that separateness? So let me get into the cards, okay? So cards, like I always say, they're a great way to kind of pick up on the synchronicities of life, right? I'm not, a professional astrologer or anything of that nature, but I just like reading the cards because it's just interesting, right? So the first cards I picked up on are Lady of the Stars, okay? And then the Queen of Michael card. So we have the Queen of Michael card, and then we have the Lady of the Stars. If anybody has questions about this, please don't hesitate to comment. But, it's like, well, you know what to do. That's what these cards are saying. You know exactly what to do. You know the benefits of the experience you're in right now. You're aware of these things. And the time for you to better your career and relationships is now. If there isn't any better time in history, in life right now than now to really do this, and we are connected spiritually to a lot of support. You're not alone in this. That's an illusion too, that you feel like you're all alone and that there's nothing out there supporting you. But just remember, you are a product of people. If you think back to Adam and Eve, their descendants created more descendants that created more descendants. So ancestrally, you just didn't come out the air and materialize. You have ancestral support. I believe it, I know. My mother's looking out for me, my grandmothers, the maternal, the patriarchal lines in my family. Spiritually, my beliefs in God. I know God is there for me. All these things spiritually. Do you have that connection? So just know that that's what this card is saying, that you're not alone in any of this, and that in itself is a form of division. That's an illusion, because there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye, right? So within that, this is the perfect time. Right here, right now is the perfect time to really start working on whatever issues you have with separation. So the next card, I pulled this last video too, Talisman of Potency. So what that means is there's objects all around us. There's non-conscious objects, inanimate things all around us. And these things were provided to us by the earth, by Gaia, so that we can manifest things and create, right? So that's what this card is saying, to utilize those things in your environment to help you move towards your goals. What resources do you have around you that you can use right now to move you towards your goals? If you say, you know what, I want to do hair, what resources do you have right now that can help you start doing hair? If you want to lose weight, what resources do you have right now to help you lose weight? A lot of times we think, oh, I got to go to the gym. I haven't been going to the gym. We got all these restrictions. We're locked down. But you know what? If you're a little overweight, you're carrying around all the strength training that you need right here. Your body, if you do some push-ups, some sit-ups, all that weight, all that resistance, all that stored energy we're carrying around right now, you could use that. So, think about that. What resources do you have right now that can help you get towards whatever goals you have? Because the division is an illusion. The divide and conquer. Our egos will tell us, you can't do that. You don't have enough. This isn't right. You remember what happened last time? You can't do this. And then you will start to believe that inner dialogue and follow through with that division that's in your mind. And then that cuts you off from what you want to achieve. That cuts you off from your goals. So, what resources do you have in your environment right now that you can use to move towards what you want? It's very important. And once you start to identify those resources, then life is wonderful. You thrive through the power of positive thinking. That's what this card is about. Thriving through the power of positive thinking. Because, I get up in the morning every day and I get in the mirror and I say positive things to myself. And when I say those positive things by using the mirror, which is a tool that I use, a resource in my environment to help keep my mind focused and set that intent for my day on those positive things. Because there's so much contrast and polarity that is created that feeds us that illusion of division. So divide and conquer. It feeds us that illusion, right? And then next thing is divine destiny of a warrior. That's major. And then Raphael is saying, this is Angel Raphael, he's saying that reason to celebrate, community of friends, happy announcements regarding relationships, right? So what this is saying is that, okay, think about, I mentioned Attila the Hun, right? So think about when you're going out to battle, like, okay, maybe it's even your spouse and there's a division there, or your partner, right? And you're like, man, I got to tell them, that I don't like this. I don't like how they spoke to me the other day. This is something I don't believe in, so in 2021, that's a battlefield that a lot of us go into, right? So, when you're taking on that warrior stance, when you're going into battle, whether it be against or just stepping into those situations at work, or maybe in a religious setting or organization, maybe your family, maybe, like I said, a partner. When you're stepping into that situation and you're fighting for what you need, because typically there's some anger that has arisen, and you're like, no, I'm not going to be passive about this. I'm going to be assertive, hopefully not aggressive. I'm going to be assertive, and I'm going to walk into the situation and tell them what I need or how I feel, right? So the divine destiny, right? The warrior card. What this means is when we go into battle, we pull in our resources. We pull in what we need. Do we need a little more wisdom? Do we need a little more compassion? Do we need a little more patience? What do we need to really help us move through what we're trying to do so we can get our needs met, right? So that's what that's about. Divide and conquer. When you divide people and you feel like, okay, short-term gain, I got it, I won, they lost, best believe it's going to build resentment, and people are going to feel like, well, I lost this time, I want to win next time. So what do I got to do to win next time? And best believe they're going to come at you even harder the next time around. So just understanding that warrior card is about following the light and pulling in whatever resources you need to prepare yourself for when you walk into these types of situations. And when I mean resources, I mean, what do I need so that I can maintain my peace, so that I can not fly off the handle, so that I can get my point across, and so that I can create more unity. That's the long-term benefits of not trying to create more division, not trying to conquer others. The long-term benefits of trying to unify others and to provide that sense of collaboration is that everyone feels understood and everyone wins. And if everyone wins, nobody feels like they have a chip on their shoulder or any resentment or bitterness, and they're not trying to, resist or create more drama. So it's just something to think about. That's a good card. And then, okay, you could do anything right now. Go after what you want. The ability to attract helpful people. And then black obsidian. So that's an interesting stone. It kind of reflects negativity and healing. And what this is saying that you can transmute darkness into light. That's what that card means. It means that you could take a negative situation and turn it into something that gives you happiness and joy and freedom and peace. All right. And then as in doing that, in conclusion, it says divine guidance, the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. Life restored. So what that means is, those things that are kind of dead or dormant in your life will start to revitalize themselves and start to restore themselves. So if it's the weight loss you want to accomplish, all of a sudden you realize, man, I'm starting to lose a little weight. Look at my pants. I haven't gotten to those in a couple months, or maybe that relationship starts to feel a little better where you're not fighting every day. Maybe it's like every 3 weeks you're getting a little tit, but it's not like before where you're like every day going at each other. These things that you thought were long lost and couldn't be fixed start to fix themselves. So divine guidance in knowing that the search for meaning in life comes from transmuting the darkness into light. And it starts by, instead of causing more division and separation in the areas of your life that are important, if you can create more unity and pull in those aspects of yourself, meaning those strengths that you possess, if you pull those strengths into your life and focus on the unification and the positive energy in doing that, that you can really start to revitalize those areas of your life that you thought were dead long ago. Things will start to fix themselves. So that's what we want to do in 2021, y'all. We want to fix things. We want to wake things up that's been lying dormant and really create our heaven on earth right now. So if you guys got questions about this, comment, let me know, reach out. I'm streaming live right now on YouTube and Facebook. So at Myers Life Coaching on Facebook and Myers Life Coaching on YouTube, if you guys are interested in any other content. But thank you for tuning in and watching, and I hope this was helpful to you. And like I said, if there's any questions, I can answer them in the next video or provide some content on that area in the future. But just know that, division and separation, it may feel good in the moment, but the long-term ramifications are not good. And they can really cut you off from building and developing those areas of your life that you want to see improve. All right? So have a good evening, everyone.